How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're starting Daf Chof, Daf 20 of Masechta BavaMetzia, friends, your friends. Yo, Chevre. Alright, 1 second. It's like, what time is it? 5:30 in the morning. I got coffee. Chaim. Yo, Chevre. Listen, Chevre. Big stuff here. Big stuff here in Babylon Talmud. Today we are finishing the first parak of Masechta BavaMetzia, Shnaim Oichsim Metalis. Chevre, give yourselves a pat on the back. I feel like we can make a siyum just on Shnaim Oichsim Metalis. I feel like it's like a mini Masechta. Oh my Chevre, it's no small thing that we made it through. Well, not quite made it through, but very hopefully, if all goes well in half an hour or an hour, we'll make it through Shnaim Oichsim Betalis, which is a huge deal. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Tomorrow, we start the famed parak. Oh gosh, my friggin' nose. Sorry, Mom. Tomorrow we start the famed parak of BavaMetzia. BavaMetzia is like the classic parak that they teach the little kids when they're getting started. BavaMetzia. I'm already a few daf into BavaMetzia myself. It is very, very geschmack. I don't think that I would have been able to chap when I was 10 years old, but and I didn't chap when I was 10 years old, but nonetheless it's very geschmack. It's much easier than Shnaim Oichsim Betalis in my opinion. It's very, very geschmack. But anyways, that's for tomorrow. Today we're going to work on today. I'm going to drink more coffee and we're going to get started. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to start in Daf Chof Amud Aleph at the Mishnah. Motze Igris Shum ve Igris Mozin Shtoi Chalitzu Meunin. Wow, Shtoi Beruin V'chomaise Bezdin Ariza Yachzir. Alright. Motze Igris Shum. I'm going to read that again. Okay, so you found like a document that Bezdin was evaluating somebody's field. Alright, ve'igris mazon, or a document where a husband accepts upon himself to support his wife's daughter. Shtare chalitzu meunin, right? We know about chalitza from Masechta Yevamis. I will not go into the details, but be'etzem, if they don't do yibum, but instead they do chalitza or meunin. Meunin, of course, is if you have a ketana whose father has passed away and either her mother or brothers married her off, so then she can simply refuse the marriage, and meaning even after they have begun living with each other, she would not get divorced, because in this case it's only a marriage midurabanan. She just kind of like leaves, be'etzem, she refuses him, and then they write a document about that. V'shtar beirurin, or clarifying shtars. It's the first thing the Gemara is going to ask about, what they are. V'chol ma'aseh bezdin arizeh yachzer, and all ma'aseh bezdins. What does Rashi say? Where am I? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the Rashi says the first wide lines of Rashi arizeh yachzer delekele mechash l'shem nimloch, because you don't have to be concerned that maybe he changed his mind and didn't give it. Da bezdin lo ksavum ela b'davar mekuyim. Right, because Bezdin is only going to write it for something that actually happened. Right, so these Maaseh Bezdins that they are mekuyim, and we can know that they actually took place. So in these cases, Harei Zeh Yachzir. Matzah b'chvisa says the Mishnah. Matzah b'chvisa or b'deluskimo. If you find these items in a box or another kind of box. I think the Gemara asks what these things are. Tachrich shel shtaris, or a bundle, or a roll of documents, or aguda shel shtaris, or a bundle of documents. Harei Zeh Yachzir, you return them. V'chama aguda shel shtaris. How much is a roll of documents? Shlosha kshurin ze bazeh. It's 3 of them. Oh no, how much is a bundle of documents? It's 3 documents that are tied to each other, knotted to each other. Shimon Gamliel says of Shimon Gamliel, Echad alove mishlosha Meaning, so if you find 3 loan documents, and it's echad alove mi shlosha, right? There you find 3 loan documents. The common denominator in all the loan documents are the borrower, right? It's 3 documents saying that Reuven borrowed money from Shimon, another one saying Reuven borrowed from Levi, another one saying that Reuven borrowed from Yehuda. So who do you think it fell from? It obviously fell out of Reuven's pocket. So you return it to Reuven. Right? And if fakert, you find 3 documents, the common denominator is the lender, right? Shimon has been our lender all along, so we'll stick with Shimon, right? So first document says Shimon lent to Reuven, second document says Shimon lent to Levi, then the other one says Shimon lent to Yehuda. So who, of course, does that belong to? It belongs to Shimon, so you return it to Shimon. If he finds a document among his documents, he doesn't know what it is. Finds some kind of a loan document. He doesn't exactly know what this loan document what exactly this loan document is. What does Rashi say? About 10 lines to the bottom of Rashi's. Why he has it? So basically he finds a document, right? It seems like he's a third party here, right? It says that Shimon lent Reuven money. He doesn't know what to do with it. Is it because does it mean that Reuven still owes the money? Is it possible that Reuven already paid back the money? Is it possible that maybe he paid part of the money and they just gave it to him as like a third party? Well, he's not exactly sure what exactly is going on over here. So Yemunach ad Shiava Eliyahu. So you just gotta, you can't do anything with it. Just leave it until Eliyahu Hanavi comes and he'll tell you what to do with it. If there's a receipt there, so do what it says in the receipt. And the Gemara is going to talk about this, exactly figure out what's going on here. But be'etzem, if he's got on the one hand a document that says that well, let's say he's Shimon, right? So Shimon's looking among his documents and he sees, oh yeah, here's this document, Reuven owes me money. But then he sees another document that's a receipt that says Reuven has paid me back already. So then so do based on what the receipt says. If the receipt says you've already been paid back, even though you still have a document which says that you owed money, assume that it's paid back. And the Gemara is going to talk about exactly, right? The Gemara is going to talk more about that. Okay. Says the Gemara, my Shtari Berurin, what are these clarification documents? Hacha Tirgemu Shtari Tainosa. So in Bavel, they define Shtari Berurin as so my understanding is that what's it called? The people in the courts who write everything down. Is that called a stenographer? I don't know. It's the in court they would write down everything that's said so that they could be referenced later on. So that's what that is. Rabbi Yirmiyah Omer says Rabbi Yirmiyah zebar lo echad v'zebar lo echad. So it's the third parak of Masechta Sanhedrin. Zebor. It talks about it when you have a case. So each side can choose one judge, and then I think the 2 judges, maybe choose the third judge. So they write down who chose which judge, so that nobody can change their mind or deny it later. Says the Gemara that any Maise Bezdin can be returned. This is wild. This thing. Let's go back to for a second. There was a get that was found in the Bezdin of Rav Huna Dehava Ksiv Bei B'Shviri Mata Da'arichis Naira, and it was written there that it comes from Shviri Mat, Shviri, which is on the river Rochis. Amar Rav Huna says Rav Huna Chayshin L'Shnei Shviri. We have to be concerned that there are 2 Shviris. Now this is crazy because if you flip back 2 pages to Yud Ches Amud Beis, it's literally word for word. Literally the first word on Daf Yud Ches Amud Beis is Chayshinon, and the first word on Daf Chaf Amud Beis is Chayshinon. It's literally the same. Chayshinon L'Shnei Shvir v'Amar Rav Chizda l'Rabba. It's literally the same exact first line, and second line, and even third line. Shtickle deja vu. Mamash, we had the same exact thing 2 days earlier. Top of the Amud starts the exact same way. Okay, anyways, so Chashin Shnei Shviras, so Rav Huna says that we're concerned that, well, maybe there are 2 Shviras, so we can't know that this get actually is from, this husband to this wife. Maybe it's from somebody else. Omar lei Rav Chizda l'Rabba says, Rav Chizda to Rabba Pok Ayin, Rabba, go out and do your research this topic to the Orta Be'ila Rav Huna Minach, because at night Rav Huna is going to ask for a report. Novak Dok ve'ashkach, Rabba went out and found the Tnan that we learn in our Mishnah over here called Maaseh Bezdin or Izeh Yachzir, that Maaseh Bezdin, right, can be returned. And this get was signed off, and it can be returned. And therefore it is given to her. Amalei Rav Amram l'Rabba, says Rav Amram to Rabba, Heichi Poshit Mar Isur Mimamona. 1 second. Rabba, how can you bring a proof from our Mishnah? Our Mishnah that says that if you find a loan document, you can return it, or what is it? Igros Shum or whatever, right? These financial documents, we're saying that you could return. How can you now draw the conclusion that therefore a get, which is Isur Eishes Ish, you can just return this get because you could return a document of evaluating Reuven's field? How can you learn out Isura from Mamona? Right? Rav Amram says to Rabba, Eichi Poshet Mar Isura mi Mamona. How can you learn out halachis of Gittin, of Isur Eishes Ish from financial documents? Amalei, Rabbi responds to Rav Amram, Tarda, Shmendrik, Shtari Chalitzu Meyunan Tnan. The Mishnah didn't only mention Igros Shum, didn't only mention financial documents, it also mentioned Chalitza, it also mentioned Me'un. These are Isur Eishes Ish. These are Isuras, and we're saying that they can still be returned. Shmendrik, Poka Arza Devei Rav, and then one of the pillars of the Beis HaMedrash collapsed. And they each pointed the finger at the other. Mar Omer Mishum L'Soy Didi Poka, Umar Omer Mishum L'Soy Didi Poka. Right? Rav Amram says that you see the pillar of the Beis HaMedrash fell down because Rabbah called me a shmendrik, and Rabbah says, well, I called a shmendrik because he was treating me like a shmendrik, so I called him a shmendrik back. If it was found in some kind of a box. So my chafisa, what's this chafisa? A small leather kind of container that I think they put wine in and stuff. My deluskimo, what's a deluskimo? Shmuel tliko desave. It's this little, bag of something that old people walk around with and put their stuff in or something. Tachur shel shtaris or aguda shel shtaris. Okay, a roll of documents or a bundle of documents. Excuse me. My third coffee of the day. It's 5:45 in the morning. I've been up for a while. Okay. Fine. Kama hu tachur shel shtaris. So what is considered kama hu tachur shel shtaris? What's considered a roll of documents? Shlosha kruchin zeboze. Okay. Alright. So it's 3 documents rolled on each other. Aguda shel shtaris shlosha kshurin zeboze. And a bundle of documents is 3 documents that are tied to one another. Shmasmina kesher simin. So let's say then that a knot is a sign, right? We're going to learn in Perek BavaMetzia, it's all about signs, about being able to kind of give identifying descriptions of an object, which would prove that that you did not give up hope and that you plan to identify it and to find it. So maybe a knot would be considered as something that can be used for identification. So we say no. That an aguda, a bundle of documents, is 3 documents rolled onto one another. But then that's the same thing as the rolled documents, right? We have the Tachris shel shtaros and the aguda shel shtaros. And if we're saying that both of them are documents that are rolled on each other, so then they're the same thing. Tachris kol chad v'chad b'rosh dechavre aguda ramu hadade v'kruchis. Okay, the difference between the two seems to be that the tachris shel shtaros is that you like roll up the first document and then you place the rolled up first document in the second document and roll that up. Then you take those two documents, put them in the third document and roll all three up. As opposed to the aguda would be that you put them all one on top of the other and roll them all together. Okay. My machriz, minyan. So, and then what do you announce? Right? So you find these, documents. Right? Because what did we say in the Mishnah? Right? So you have to return them, right? So if you find them, then you can't just assume that they're hefker, that you can take it and you can have them. You have to announce about them. You have to try to find their owner. So what exactly are you announcing about them? So we suggest maybe what you announce is that I found 3. Where am I? My machus minyan, right? So I announce that I found these 3 documents. And then somebody would have to come and say whether they were rolled in this way or rolled in that way. And then that would be the proof. So my area, where am I? So my mach is minyan. My area tlos afilu trei nami. But if you're gonna say how many there are, then what's the difference if there are? Why are we saying davka 3 documents? If we're saying already how many there are, then why not 2 documents? Right? If what's important is how they're rolled, so then why is it a minimum of 3? So Elikadam Ravina. Tiva machriz achanami shtari machriz. No, rather, it's like Ravina says. Where does Ravina say this? I haven't learned this yet. Have I learned this yet? Chafei. No, I don't think I've learned this yet. I'm going to learn it tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Okay, whatever. No, so what you say is that you found a bunch of documents and then the person needs to tell you how many there are, right? Whether it's 3 or 4 or 5, but 2 doesn't work because if you said that you found documents, plural, obviously that already means 2. So for someone to come and say 2, he's not really saying anything. But if you say that you found some documents and somebody says, oh yeah, I lost 3 documents. Excuse me, I lost 3 documents. So you can say, okay, fine, 3? Okay, yep. 3 documents were found. Okay. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said that if you have, you find 3 documents, 3 loan documents. The common denominator is that it's the same borrower in all 3. So you can assume that it fell from the borrower. Because if it belongs to the lenders, my bo gabi adadi, then it's a huge coincidence that, if the documents belong to the lenders, it's a humongous coincidence that all 3 lenders happen to have lost their loan documents in the same exact place. It's a ridiculous coincidence. What's much more likely is that it's the borrower who had all 3 documents and misplaced all 3 at the same time. That's highly more likely, which is why we assume that it is the borrower's documents. And we return them to the borrower. Dilma likiyuminu azle. Yeah, but maybe they were maybe all 3 lenders were on their way to the scribe to be Mekayim the Shtaris, and that's why they were all in the same place. The Mekayim, yeah, but they were already Mekuyim, so therefore that can't be the case. But Dilma miyoda de safra nofil. Yeah, but maybe all 3 lenders had taken the documents to the scribe in order to be Mekuyim, to be established that the loans actually took place and that these documents are actionable, are collectible, and then maybe the scribe had all 3 documents and he lost all 3 documents. Lo mashe inish kiyuma biyada desafra. Apparently, though, a lender doesn't just leave the document by the scribe. I guess he has the scribe sign it and then he takes it back immediately. They wouldn't just be filed away at the scribes. So therefore, that's not a possibility. Okay, fine. Have a little more coffee. How many sips are in a cup of coffee? You ever think about that? I don't think I ever did. That's an interesting thought. 1 cup of coffee equals how many sips? Never really thought about that. Would you say it's somewhere between 10 and 20? Obviously, it depends how much coffee you have, but like a regular, kind of mug, cup of coffee, between 10 and 20 sips? Sounds about right, yeah? guess it also depends how big the sips are, but alright. Alright. Okay, so we said that if the common denominator is the lender, so then you return it to the lender. Because it enters your mind that they fell from the borrower. If we're saying that the common denominator in the three documents is the lender, but it's three separate borrowers, so it's a humongous coincidence that all three borrowers would have had the documents and have left it and dropped it in the same place. So it must be that it belongs to the lender. But maybe they were going to the scribe. Maybe it is the lenders, and they were all going to it is the borrowers, and they're all going to the scribe to have these documents written for them, so that they can give to the lender. And it was there that all of them fell. So yeah, but they're written in three different hands, i.e. Yidei Safri, right? They're written by three different scribes, so therefore that can't be the possibility. But maybe they were going to the scribe to be Mekayim them, so meaning after they were written by three different scribes, they then went to this one scribe to be Mekayim the shtar, to write, to confirm that they actually happened. But Malva Mekayim shtar, Lovala Mekayim shtar. Yeah, but the thing is, it's the lender who goes to who kind of takes the initiative there to go to the scribe to have him write on it that it's been confirmed that the loan has taken place and that this document is collectible. It would be the lender who takes care of this, not the borrowers. So if you have these three documents with one, right, the same lender on them but different borrowers, you can assume that it fell from the lender. So now the Mishnah said, okay, if you have receipts there, do like the receipts. So let's say, right, Shimon is looking through his documents. He sees that he has a document that says that Reuven owes him $1,000, but he also sees a document that he wrote that says, or that he had written at least, that says that he received the payment from Reuven. So now what? On the one hand, he has a document saying he can collect $1,000, and the other one is on the other hand, it says that he also has a document that says that he's already received $1,000. So the Mishnah seemingly had said that you do based on the receipt. You go based on the receipt, and the receipt says you received it, so you received it, and don't collect the $1,000 from Reuven. Amar Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, Amar Rav, Simpo na yotze mitachas idei malve, that actually a receipt that's coming from the malve, i.e. the exact scenario that I just described with Shimon, af al pisha kasu b'chsav yodo, even though he himself wrote it, eino ela ki mesachek ufasol, it's just a joke. It's puzzle. You can't actually rely on that to assume that Shimon has actually been paid back. Lumiboya kasuv bichsav yad sofer. Now, certainly if the receipt has been written by a scribe, it would be no indication that Shimon has actually been paid back. Bichsav yad sofer deika lemeimar, because you could say safer isramile v'chosav. Because you could say, like, look, Shimon, of course, was expecting to get paid back from Reuven, at least at some point in the future. So and now there was a scribe available for whatever reason. He had access to a scribe. So he said, you know what, scribe, that's the scribe. The scribe's name is Scribe, coincidentally. And so he says, hey, scribe, can you write me a receipt, right? So that I said, I'll have it. So that when Reuven comes and pays me back, I'll have a receipt ready to give to him. So certainly, if certainly if Scribe the Scribe scribed for him a scribed document. Okay. Take it easy. 6 a.m. What are you getting worked up about? All right. Certainly, if Shimon has a document that was written, a receipt that was written by a scribe, we can assume, like, okay, he had, the scribe was available, and he had him write the receipt for him, said the receipt would be available for when he gets paid back, but it's not an indication that he has in fact been paid back. Even if Shimon himself had written the receipt, it's still possible. Sover Dilma Misrame, because maybe Shimon's thought in writing this document was Dilma Misrame v'osi ben Ashmoshes v'kaparli. Well, maybe what if Reuven comes to pay me ben Ashmoshes on Erev Shabbos, and there's no time to go to the scribe to get it written, and it's either now or never, right? Reuven's coming with $1,000 to finally pay me back right before Shabbos. It's like, all right, now or never. So therefore, he already has the receipt written in advance. De ilo yayivna le lo yayiv li zuze. And Shimon figures, look, if I don't have a receipt on the ready that I can give to Reuven immediately, if he were to come bein hashmashos and erev Shabbos, and now's my chance to get repaid, so echtov ono, I will. Where am I? De ilo yohivna le lo yayiv li zuze. Right. So if I don't give him the receipt, he won't give me the money. Echtov ono. So I'll write this receipt. Dechi aisi li zuze, so that in the event, right, so that when he comes and he pays me back, etein lei, I'll be able to pay him back immediately. So that is why he has it handwritten, just so that he's got something ready in case he needs to give the receipt immediately so that he can get paid back. So we see that according to Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba Amarav, according to Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, right, Shimon having this receipt means nothing. If he's got a document that says that Reuven owes him money and he also has a receipt, the receipt doesn't prove anything, because he may have just either had the receipt written by a scribe or even wrote the receipt himself, just so that he can have it ready for when Reuven pays him back. Tanan, we learn in our Mishnah, but our Mishnah seems to contradict Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, because our Mishnah says that if Shimon has a receipt, we do based on the receipt, and he wouldn't be able to collect from Reuven. Kidam Rav Safra, well, it's like Rav Safra says, as we're going to see soon, Shenimtza ben shtarus kruin. Well, the Mishnah is talking about specifically where this receipt was found among other torn up documents. Well, Rav Safra talks about a scenario that we'll see in a minute where it's found among torn up documents. So Chanami, so here also in our Mishnah, that he had found this receipt among other torn up documents. Meaning, since he had found this receipt among other documents that are torn up and no longer relevant, it's basically an indication that he's been paid back, and therefore the loan is no longer collectible. And so that is why in that case he would no longer collect the loan from Reuven. Tashma coming here, Nimtza le'echad ben shtarosav shtaro shel Yosef ben Shimon parua shtaro shnei and pruin. So we have, I guess, a brisa that says that, okay, so Shimon lent money, and where Shimon lives there are two people named Yosef ben Shimon, and oh wow, his name is Shimon also. All right, whatever. Shimon lent money to two people named Yosef ben Shimon, and he has a document saying, right, Nimtza le'echad ben shtarosav shtarosh Yosef ben Shimon parua. So now he's found a document that says that Yosef ben Shimon's loan has been paid back. The question is, we don't know which Yosef ben Shimon, so each one can argue that they're the one who paid it back, and he would basically be stuck. Shtarosh shnei pruin. So we assume that both of them have already paid back, because we can't prove that it was one or the other. So here we see that we do go based on this receipt that he finds among his documents. So Kedama Rav Safra Shnimtza ben shtaros kruin, Hachanami Shnimtza ben shtaros kruin. So we could say the same thing over here, that Dafka, when he finds the receipt among his torn up documents, which means that this is no longer a loan that could be that is expected to be collected anymore. Tashma coming here, Shavua shelo pakadnu abba. So this is talking about where Shimon's heirs want to collect a loan from, right, to be repaid, a loan that their father had loaned to the heirs of Reuven's father, Reuven, right? So meaning Shimon had lent Reuven money. Both Reuven and Shimon are no longer alive. Shimon's heirs want to collect the money from Reuven's heirs, and they swear Shelo pakadnu abba, that our father never he never gave us the money, I think, or said that it was never paid back or whatever. V'shelo amar lanu abba, our father never told us that it was paid back. V'shelo matzanu ben shtarosav shel abba sheshtar zepruah, and we haven't found among our father's documents that the loan has been paid back, implying that if they did find among their father's documents that it had paid back, they would not be able to collect it. But so it sounds like a kashan of Yirmiyah bar Abba, who says that it doesn't mean anything. So here's where Rav Safra says that what we were talking about, if it were to have been found among his torn up documents, then it would be considered to have been paid back. But otherwise, it wouldn't be relevant. Just have to shtick on my coffee. Toshma coming here. Simple and sheish all of edim yiskayim b'chosama. So if you have a receipt that has witnesses, so then yiskayim b'chosama, right? Have the witnesses kind of be mekayim their signatures, and if that's the case, so then we would rely upon the receipt. But I thought that we don't rely upon just finding a receipt. So Amy is kind mechosam of the shain linan lehu l'saidei. No, it says it will be mekayim the receipt from the witnesses, meaning that we asked them, I parua, I lo parua, that we asked the witnesses, hey, was this loan actually paid back or not? And if they say it was, well then, yeah, you won't be able to collect. But if they say it wasn't, so then you would be able to collect. Tashma coming here. Simple sheish all of edim kosher. That this receipt that has witnesses on it is kosher. So my edim, what does it mean? Edim, edei kiyum. That it was edei kiyum, says Rashi. Edei kiyum shekosvu henpik. That they kind of added a henpik, this addendum to the document. Deveidina lo mekaymele elim kein par. That Bezdin would not write this right. They would not be mekayim this receipt unless it was actually paid back. This also makes sense from the fact that it says in the Seifa v'shein olav edim posel, and if it doesn't have witnesses, it's posel. My ein olav edim. What does it mean? There's no witnesses. Ilemi deleka ilav edim klal. It means there's no witnesses at all. Obviously, it's posel. The posel alav edei kiyum. No, it means that if there are no edei kiyum, so then it is posel. Okay, fine. But if there are witnesses that were mekayim the receipt, so that would the Bezdin would only be mekayim the shtar to sort of vouch for the document if it was actually paid back. Gufa, we said earlier, simple and sheish olav edim miskayim b'chosamav, a receipt that has witnesses, so you'd be mekayim it with its signatures. Ein olav edim, if there are no witnesses, v'yotzei mitachas idei sholish, but if there are no witnesses, but it comes from a third party, or it's below the signature on the document, right? So meaning, so Shimon has a document that says that Reuven owes him $1,000, and underneath the signatures of the document, he then writes that he's been paid back. Kosher. So the receipt is kosher. So if a third party has this receipt, so it is kosher because they trusted this third party to hold on to this receipt for them. So therefore it's kosher. Also, if the receipt is beneath the signatures on the document, also you can assume that it's been repaid, because Shimon wouldn't ruin the document unless it's already been repaid, right? Kind of writing the receipt under the signatures of the document ruins the document, and he wouldn't do that unless it's already been repaid. So in both of those cases, you can assume that it has already been repaid. Hajan Olach Shnaim Ochzim. We'll come back to Perik Shnaim Ochzim. Wow. Okay, Givaldik. Well, give yourselves a pat on the back, and tomorrow we will start the very, very exciting and very, very famous Perik of BavaMetzia.